number 0264, order to review applications for the Commission on Black Men and Boys. I'm City Councilor at Large Ruti Lujan, Chair of the Committee on Civil Rights and Immigrant Advancement. It's Thursday, March 10th, 2022, and we are here today for a virtual working session. This matter was referred to the committee on February 9th and sponsored by Councilor Julia Mejia and Council President Ed Flynn. In accordance with Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022, modifying certain requirements of the open meeting laws and relieving public bodies of certain requirements, including the requirement that public bodies conduct its meetings in a public place that is open and physically accessible to the public. The City Council will be conducting this working session virtually via Zoom, and it is being recorded. This enables the City Council to carry out the responsibilities while adhering to public health accommodations and ensuring public access to its deliberations through adequate alternative means. The public may watch this working session via live stream at www.boston.gov/city-council.tv and on Xfinity 8, RCN 82, Verizon 964. It will also be rebroadcasted at a later date. Written comments may be sent to the committee email at ccc.go@boston.gov and will be made a part of the record and available to all councilors. An ordinance creating this Commission on Black Men and Boys was initially codified last September as Chapter 11 of the ordinances of 2021. The ordinance outlines the 21-person membership of the Commission and defines its objectives, which include, but are not limited to, advising the mayor on issues pertaining to Black men and boys, determining budget and policy priorities, and designing projects and programs that promote equity. This year, the current ordinance was amended by adding provisions relating to an executive director and defining the role of the executive director. The mayor will appoint an executive director of the Black Boys and Men Commission, who will be an existing paid employee of the City of Boston to oversee and run the daily operations and administration of the commission. The executive director would have the powers of a department head to execute contracts, to manage personnel, and advise the commission. The executive director would be a member of the commission ex officio without additional compensation and would have a vote on matters before the commission. The amendment approved this year was necessary so that a paid city employee is a member of the commission and is able to execute contracts and manage personnel as required under the ordinance. In order to collaborate with the City Council, the mayor is accepting recommendations from the City Council and will appoint 7 members to the commission from the City Council's 14 recommendations. The City Council established an online application process where residents could apply to be one of the 14 nominees submitted by the City Council. City Council members also were given access to the list of people who have applied to the commission via the mayor's office and can choose from that list as well. Commission members will serve 2, 3, or 4-year terms. In preparation for this working session, I've requested that my colleagues submit the names of 3 individuals for consideration. I want to thank former City Councilor Tito Jackson for spearheading this effort and not letting up even when first hearing no. We're witnessing the fruits of his labor and many others in getting the city to recognize the need for the commission and for advocating for resources and spaces that will focus our city's attention on our Black men and boys and how we can better meet their needs. I also want to thank the lead sponsor, Councilor Mejia, for continued advocacy in spearheading this through, President Flynn for co-sponsoring, and Councilor Worrell as our current lone Black male city councilor for jumping in to do this work to get this commission up and running. Also want to extend gratitude to our former mayor, Mayor Kim Janey, for signing this ordinance, and to our current mayor, Mayor Michelle Wu, for working in collaboration with the council on these nominations. I'll turn it over to the lead sponsors of the order, Councilor Julia Mejia and Council President Ed Flynn, to share any opening remarks they may have and to share their recommendations. And then I'll turn it over to my colleagues in order of arrival to share their recommendations. But first, I want to read into the record absent statements from Councilor Edwards and Councilor Bach. Councilor Lydia Edwards, who may or may not be able to join. Let me see, I don't see her here. Recommended 2 names, Osa Ohiomoba and Rashawn Martin. Councilor Kenzie Bach stated, Dear Chair Louis-Jean, I regret that I'm not able to join you today, but I did want to express my support for 3 nominees in particular to this important commission. I'm grateful for the example of strong, compassionate Black male leadership that former Boston City Councilor Tito Jackson continues to provide our city. I believe it is only fitting that he have a seat on this commission, which he helped dream into being. I have also been extraordinarily impressed with the careful, attentive work of Darryl Miller on behalf of the City Mayor's Office of Veteran Services and I think he would bring a valuable local veteran perspective to the table. My staff and myself appreciated the opportunity to partner with Justin Brown when he worked in your office, and I know that he was instrumental in pushing for this commission. I would also support his nomination. I hope these comments are helpful to you and the committee in your deliberation. Again, my apologies that I am unable to join you in person. Thank you for doing this important work. Sincerely, Kenzie Bach, Boston City Councilor, District 8. So I'll now turn it over to at-large City Councilor and co-sponsor and lead sponsor here, Julia Mejia.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and congratulations for chairing your first working session. Our office filed an ordinance, as you know, establishing the Commission on Black Men and Boys, which was then signed by Mayor Janey back in September, as you mentioned. And since then, our office has been working with the administration to ensure that the commission is set up for success. In February, the administration approached us and asked us to submit 14 nominations, of which 7 will be chosen to be on the commission. And I just wanted to say a quick thanks for the quick turnaround from the chair's office. In addition to the hard work of Carrie Jordan, we were able to launch an application portal and receive dozens of applications. I look forward to hearing from each of our council colleagues who took the time to review the nominations, and looking forward to seeing who you're presenting. And one thing that I just want to note is that we have an opportunity to make choices to serve on the commission who may not otherwise have been chosen by the administration. So I think that this is an opportunity for us not to just think about who we know, but what skills are being brought to the table. And I want to especially uplift the LGBTQ voices and young people in this space. I look forward to this conversation and furthering the work of ensuring that the space for Black and Brown boys reflects the true diversity of this great city. So I'll just, I also want to just quickly acknowledge that I'm sure that some of the folks that we're presenting will or probably would have been chosen by the administration. So in terms of my nominations, I'm proposing Tito Jackson. I'm happy to hear that Justin Brown is also on deck. So thank you to Councilor Bach for that. James Hills and Dave Bazil. Those are my 3 recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mejia. Next to our co-sponsor, President Flynn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for chairing this important working session. I want to thank Councilor Mejia for her work in working to create the commission, Mayor Janey as well, Councilor Worrell for his partnership as well. The Commission on Black Men and Boys will play a critical role in addressing inequities in our city. The commission will advise us on how we can solve some of the biggest inequities in Boston, and I think it'll be critical in informing us how we can make our city more opening, welcome for Black men and boys. I also want to thank, as Councilor Mejia mentioned, City Council Central staff that really helped us out. They were very, very helpful to create the application along with Mayor Wu's team, her administration. And again, want to say thank you to you, Madam Chair, along with former City Councilor Tito Jackson, who did a lot of work leading up to this point too. So thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, President Flynn. And did you want to offer any recommendations?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I also would like to nominate Tito Jackson. I've worked with him on many issues in the past. He's very, very professional and hardworking. I also have worked with Daryl Miller for 4 years. Daryl, as Kenzie and Julia have mentioned, works at the City of Boston Veterans Services. I've interacted with him on many, many issues and in public at various events. He's also very professional, hardworking, very knowledgeable. So I think he'd be a great addition to the commission as well.
Thank you so much, President Flynn.
Thank you.
And now, in order of arrival, I'll turn it over to at-large City Councilor Erin Murphy for your recommendation.
Sure, thank you. And congratulations, Councilor Lujan, for your first working session. And I do want to thank Councilor Mejia for sponsoring this. And I was fortunate to have a meeting with Frank Farrow the other day, and want to make sure that this commission is successful and that I'm supporting it in any way I can. It's very necessary. The two recommendations I would put forward, and I'm looking forward to hearing from my other colleagues who they support in this process, are Tito Jackson, who I have met and worked with on some occasion in the past, and also Daryl Miller from the Veterans Commission, who I met when I was working over there last month. So those are my two recommendations, and I look forward to hearing my other colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Murphy. Next, we'll go to District 4, City Councillor Brian Worrell.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to Councillor Julia Mejia for all her work on bringing this to fruition, and also to Tito Jackson, Mayor Janey, Mayor Wu, and our Council President Ed Flynn. For my nomination, I would say Tito Jackson, and also want to nominate James Mackey.
Thank you, Councillor Worrell. Next, we have District 6 City Councillor Kendra Lara.
Thank you, Chair, and congratulations. Again, want to extend congratulations, as all folks have done, for your first working session. I'm really excited to be here today to see all of the hard work of all of the folks who came before us come to fruition, particularly when it comes to Black men and boys in the city of Boston. I have the privilege of working with so many of the people who are in this application pool, either through my work as a street worker or through my work as a youth worker before I came onto the city council. So I'm really excited to submit my nominations. I am going to be nominating Kwame Dominique Adams from Mattapan. I'm going to be nominating Dave Basil from Jamaica Plain. I also was going to nominate Tito Jackson, but I heard Councillor Mejia say James Willis's name, which I don't see on the application. And I also heard Mr. Mackey's name, which I would like to kind of check off on both of them. But I don't see their names on the application process. But if we're nominating them, I would like to put my nomination in for both James and Mr. Mackey as well.
Great, thank you, Councilor Lara. And so I think that's everyone. I'll just say go on record as well.
I'm sorry, Councillor Lujan. I know that Councillor Anderson is going to be getting on.
Okay.
I believe she is going to be making it.
She's joining, I see her.
Okay.
Do I have the floor?
Yes, you do. Good morning, Councilor Fernandez Anderson. City councilors have been giving their recommendations. So if you want to give the names of folks that you'd like to recommend for the commission.
Good morning, Councilor. Madam Chair, congratulations on your first. You are doing amazing. I want to recommend at least 2 or 3 people, or 4. And then I guess we can follow up after that. But Tito Jackson for sure, James Hills, David Bazil, and Sean Brown.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. If that's any other.
And can you see me here, because I was already in here, but I don't think you could have seen me. Something's wonky about the computer.
Oh, okay.
I heard you guys talking about me not being here, and I was here the whole time.
Oh, and apparently Councilor Flaherty is here as well, but saw him raise his hand, but he's not yet in this Zoom room, so.
Flaherty, if you can hear us.
While we wait for him, oh, he's joining, okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just having connectivity issues, but I'm on.
Thank you, Councilor Flaherty. Would you like to give your recommendations for the Black Men and Boys Commission?
I'm going to hold for now. I just have to connect with my staff. That's what I'm trying to get that list right now.
Okay, great. I will also say that there's been some really great names that have been offered to be members of this commission. Again, Tito Jackson for all of his work. Lots of folks have recommended him. I do as well, and Justin Brown. Want us to also offer up for consideration some other folks who I think would be really great additions to this commission. Stephen Hanton, who is a community organizer here in the LGBTQIA space and has worked a lot on HIV prevention, lives in Roxbury, would be a really great addition to this commission. Devin Morris, an educator, especially important as we're thinking about the lack of diversity among our BPS teachers. So having an educator would be really great. And then Jeff Simillian, who's been working who lives in Hyde Park, works in Mattapan, been working on King Among Kings, bringing Black men together to talk about a variety of issues. So we have an abundance of really great candidates for this commission. And I'm excited to see how we engage with them and getting this commission up and running. I see your hand up, President Flynn and Councilor Worrell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sorry to interrupt the flow of the meeting. I just wanted to add, just to state the obvious, the committee would benefit tremendously with the addition of Councilor Worrell as a member. And obviously I support my colleague. I know he would play a tremendous role on the committee. But whether it's nomination from our body, the City Council, or he's nominated from the mayor's office, I know Brian would play an exceptional role in his life experience would make the committee, would be a great addition to the committee. So I just want to state the obvious, but Brian would be an excellent representative on the committee. Thank you, Madam Chair, for giving me another minute to speak.
Thank you, President Flynn, for those comments. Next up, Councilor Worrell, who I agree would be a great member. So,
thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, President Flynn. Honored. I'll be honored to definitely serve on this committee. That means a lot that you nominated me. I wasn't expecting that, so thank you so much for that. But I also wanted to echo some of the nominations that you made, Councilor Louis Jen, with Jess Million, and also advocate for Alex Edwards, who's also does great work in our community with small business development and in Kings and Kings, and also uplift the name of or nominate Curtis Faustin, Faustin, to be part of this committee as well. And thank you again.
Thank you, Councilor Worrell. Councilor Flaherty, are you ready to?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'll concur, obviously, with Council President Flynn and second our colleague, Councilor Worrell. I also want to recognize and also support the application of my former colleague, City Councilor Tito Jackson, who's done a lot of work in the space and led efforts on the council when I served alongside and sat alongside of him in this space. And also dear friend and longtime supporter, Will Dickerson III, has also done a lot of work in the space, working with youth in particular, but his reputation speaks for itself, as well as his work as a community service officer and commitment to the city. So I'm fine with our colleague, Brian Worrell, my former colleague, Tito Jackson, and Will Dickerson III. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Flaherty. Councilor Mejia?
Yes, I'm so excited because the more I hear y'all talk and drop names, the more excited I am about this commission. And I think a lot of the names that I heard, I co-signed 3 times as much. And I also just want to be super mindful of the fact that, you know, I do really hope that the administration is listening in on this working session, and they're going to see that while we only have 7 names out of the 14 that are going to get chosen, that the names that we're putting out there, that they consider it during their process too. And I just really want to underscore that the names that we're all uplifting here are really important for their consideration as well. And I also wanted to say that I think it is imperative for us to have our colleague, Councilor Worrell, as part of the commission, because I think it's going to be a really important voice to have, and also to be that liaison between the administration and the council. So I think it is fitting, and it's actually important for us to advocate strongly that that seat is his. And so, Brian, we're gonna go hard for you on that one, and just know that the seat was definitely designed for you. So I just wanna uplift that. And then again, underscoring, and I'm gonna say this again because I want the administration and Frank and everybody else who are listening in, that a lot of the names that you heard here, since we only get 7 out of the 14, my hope is that you will consider the Kurtz and the other folks that you heard here today as part of your list, especially Bishop Dickerson as well. So I just really want to underscore the importance of this conversation that we're having. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mejia. Councilor Lara?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to add to the symphony of support for Councilor Worrell. I didn't know that we could nominate city council members. If I did, I would have absolutely done so. So thank you, President Flynn, for setting the precedent here. I think that Brian Worrell would be an amazing member of the commission, and the city of Boston would be very, very lucky to have him there.
Thank you, Councilor Lara. I see Councilor Fernandez-Anderson. Hand up.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Councilor Worrell, sorry if I missed this part. So you've shown an interest? I missed that part. You are interested?
Absolutely. I am very much interested in advancing the efforts of Black men and boys in the city of Boston. Tanya, for Councilor Anderson.
Then I would love to support that. You would be phenomenal. I can't see a better qualified person. Like I said, I just wanted to add to the list Councilor Brian Worrell, former Councilor Tito Jackson, James Hills, and Sean Brown. Thank you. Thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you. And thank you to all my colleagues for nominating me. I was not expecting this. It feels like my birthday. I feel good.
Well, happy birthday, Councilor Worrell.
I said it feels like my birthday. It's not my birthday, but it feels like it.
Some cake I'll bring over to you.
Thank you to Councilor Flynn for recommending that, because I too did not know that could happen. So I'm glad that Councilor Flynn is showing his presidency and bringing things to light. So thank you for that, Councilor Flynn.
Well, thank you. I think Brian, Councilor Worrell has to bring some cake and ice cream to us instead, all right?
Councilor Murphy, I see your hand is raised. You have the floor.
Thank you. So obviously just echoing that I 200% support that. My neighbor on the council floor and my neighbor back home in Dorchester, absolutely wonderful. And I think many of us didn't realize we could, and thinking maybe Councilor Lujan or Mejia, could maybe Brian be like an extra one, like that we will have a council seat on this, not because there's so many other great applicants. Like Pastor Dickerson, I would like to also add him to my list. There's so many great names. It's kind of hard when you go through the list to pick just 3. We know they've all done such amazing work in this space, and will continue to advocate if they're on this commission or not. So maybe we can advocate, Councilor Flynn, President Flynn, that our colleague is a member, but we also can choose our 3 to go forward, or 7, I mean. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. Councilor Mejia?
Yeah, I echo Councilor Murphy's sentiment, and I think Councilor Flynn, if you could, on the behalf of the council, advocate such that the seat that Brian will occupy is not a seat that it's a seat that gets appointed by the mayor's process, not counting towards the council process, right? So that is going to be another thing that those who are listening in can hear me say, that we're looking for the administration to take up the council seat as part of their process. So I'm stating that for the record, and I'm hoping that those who are listening in hear it loud and clear. But Councilor Flynn will probably need your advocacy as the president to help us with that advocacy.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor Mejia, and thank you, Councilor Murphy. Yes, that's something I will work on. I'm expected to talk to some administration officials shortly, so that is a recommendation I will make.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Flynn. I think that's everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming. I just want to underline, there've just been so many great names, so much enthusiasm shown for this commission, which I think shows the need for us to have this commission. And there are so many folks, who have been lifted up, who I want to underscore again, but also names that haven't been mentioned, so Louis Elisa, Tony Brewer, Claude Oliver, Prudent, people who've been working in this community, both young and on the old and old, who would bring a wealth of experience and would add tremendously to this commission. So thank you so much for coming to this working session. For your recommendations, we will take them under advisement, and I'm excited for the work of this commission. So I don't know if Councilor Mejia, if you want to say anything, or President Flynn.
Well, I see President Flynn's hand is up, and so is Councilor Murphy. So I'll just wait.
I just had him put mine down. I'm
You can
sorry.
put it down.
Councilor Flynn.
President Flynn.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. And I just wanted to add one point, and I've spoken to Councilor Mejia about this, but also with the mayor's office as well. So with the people that were interested in being on the board, unfortunately, not everyone will be selected. But what I've talked to Councilor Mejia and I talked to Councilor Worrell, but I also talked to the mayor's team. But those people that aren't selected, there's still a critical role in the city for them to play, and that their voice is important and their voice needs to be heard and matters. And so I expressed that very clearly to the mayor's office, as did Councilor Mejia as well. So I guess my point is, even if you aren't selected, it's important that we remain in contact with those that weren't selected, to make sure that they're involved in this discussion as well. So just wanted to highlight that brief point. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, President Flynn. Yes, very important. Just because if folks, are not members of the commission does not mean that their voices as Black men and boys in the city, whether on this commission or on another commission, aren't important. We need to make sure that we, keep folks involved and engaged and centered as we, build towards a more equitable, justice-centered city. So thank you, President Flynn. Thank you again to lead sponsor Julia Mejia. Shout out to our colleague and hopefully commission member, Councilor Worrell. Thanks everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.